बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि कोरोना वायरस की वजह से जो है यूनिवर्सिटी की तालीमी इदारों में छुट्टियाँ हैं, तो आप लोग घर में बैठे हुए हैं। तो मैंने इसलिए वीडियो लेक्चर्स आप लोगों के लिए बनाए हैं ताकि आप लोगों का नुकसान भी ना हो, घर बैठे हुए आप पढ़ते रहें। और इन वीडियो लेक्चर्स को देखने के बाद अगर आपका कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो आप क्वेश्चन जो है गूगल क्लासरूम में आप लोग तमाम जो है ऐड किए हुए हैं, तो उसमें क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं। इसके अलावा आप ईमेल वगैरह मुझे भेजेंगे तो मैं आपको ये जो हार्ड मटेरियल है ये कॉपीज आपको भेज दूंगा। तो जैसा कि आप जानते हैं we were discussing the different type of reactions, and so far we have discussed the addition reactions and the substitution reactions. So now we will discuss the elimination reactions. Now elimination reactions are those reactions in which two atoms or groups are removed from the molecule without being replaced by other atoms or molecules. For example, if we have this type of reaction and we remove this HY group, then these type of reactions are called elimination reactions. Now there are different types of elimination reactions. First major type elimination reaction is called the 1, 2 or alpha beta elimination reactions. If the two groups are removed from the molecule from two adjacent carbon atoms, then this type of elimination is called 1, 2 or alpha beta elimination reactions. For example, if you have this type of molecule in the same example and you remove the two groups Y and H from two adjacent carbon atoms from the 1 and 2 carbon atoms, then this type of elimination reaction is called the 1, 2 or alpha beta elimination reactions. And different type, the second type is alpha or 1, 1 elimination reactions. If we remove a group, two groups both are removed from the same carbon atom, then this type of elimination reactions are called 1, 1 or alpha elimination reactions. So there are other different types of elimination reactions. If the two groups are removed from 1 and 5th carbon atom, one is removed from the 1 carbon and the other is removed from the 5th carbon atom, then these are called 1, 5 elimination reactions. There are also 1, 6 and different elimination reactions, but these are less common. So far we discussed only two types of reactions, 1, 2 alpha beta elimination reactions and alpha and 1, 1 elimination reactions. So there are two types of elimination reactions, two major types: beta elimination reactions, 1, 2 or alpha beta elimination reactions, and 1, 1 are alpha elimination reactions. So we will discuss with the first type of elimination reactions, which one is 1, 2 or alpha beta elimination reactions. So you know, if two groups are removed from the two adjacent carbon atoms 1 and 2, then these type of elimination reactions are alpha beta or 1, 2 elimination reactions. For example, first example is the removal of alkyl halide in the presence of a base. So now in this case, here one nucleophile is removed and the other hydrogen is removed from the other carbon atom. So the carbon which contains the nucleophile, that carbon is called the alpha carbon, and the nearby carbon from which the proton is removed is called the beta carbon. So because both groups are removed from the two nearby carbons, one from alpha, one from beta, so these type of reactions are called alpha-beta elimination reactions. The first example is the removal of hydrogen bromide, HBr, from an alkyl halide in the presence of a base. Second example is the removal from alcohol in the presence of acid. So in this case, when you treat an alcohol with an acid, so alcohol hydroxyl group is removed from the alpha carbon atom or from the one carbon atom, and the hydrogen removed from the second carbon atom or beta carbon atom. So the group carbon from which nucleophile is removed, it is called alpha carbon, and the carbon from which hydrogen is removed is called the beta carbon. And another example is the Hofmann degradation reaction. So you can see that this whole group is called a nucleophile. So this group is removed from one carbon, which is called the alpha carbon, and the proton will be removed from the second carbon, which is called beta carbon. So this type of elimination reaction is called the 1,2 or alpha beta elimination reactions. Now in new terminology, only this elimination is called the beta elimination. The alpha word is omitted, and nowadays we call this elimination as a beta elimination reactions. Now further, the beta elimination reactions are further divided into three main categories depending upon their mechanism. So now we will discuss the different types of the beta elimination reactions. So depending upon the mechanisms, the first major type of the beta elimination reactions are number one, E2 mechanism. For example, if we have this type of reagent, if a base remove the proton and at the same time the nucleophile is also removed, it means both the groups will be removed in the same step in a concerted manner, then these type of reactions are called E2 or bimolecular reactions. So you can see that what is happening, that base is removing the proton and the nucleophile is also removed from the same time, because the reaction takes place in a concerted manner in a single step. So we can show them as a dotted lines. As a result, double bond is formed and nucleophile and H are removed at the same time. So this type of reaction is called E2 mechanism. So because this type of reaction is very similar to SN2 reaction, and this type of reaction is called bimolecular elimination reactions. As you can see, the rate of reaction will depend upon the concentration of both this reagent and the base. So the rate of reaction will be depending upon the reagent base. So this type of elimination reactions which takes place through this mechanism are called bimolecular elimination reactions, E2 elimination reactions. And in contrast, you know E1 mechanism. If the one of the reagent is removed first and then in the second step the other reagent is removed and both the reagent will remove differently in two different steps, then this type of mechanisms are called E1 mechanisms. For example, same compound we have. And what happens? Then first Y removes. And a carbocation is formed. And in the second step, this base will remove the proton to give then these type of reactions are called E1 mechanisms. Difference you can see in this case, the nucleophile will remove, nucleophile will depart and you will get a carbocation, and from the carbocation now the base will remove the proton and you get the same product will be same but the rate of reaction will be different. In this case the rate of reaction will not depend upon the concentration of base, because the first step is slow step and the removal of Y is difficult, so only the rate of reaction will depends upon the concentration of only one reagent. So these type of reactions are called unimolecular elimination reactions. So we have another third type of elimination reaction. This is called E1CB elimination reaction. I will not remove this E1 mechanism because it is similar to E1 mechanism. Third type of mechanism of elimination reaction is E1CB mechanism. In this type of elimination reactions, what happens? You have the same reagent, so first the base will remove the proton, and when base removes the proton, because proton leaves without its electron, so you will get a carbene ion, and from carbene ion in the second step the Y will be removed, so you will get CH2. So you can see the difference. In E1 mechanism, reaction takes place in two steps, but the first step is the formation of the carbocation. The Y will be removed and carbocation is formed, and then the proton will be removed. But E1CB mechanism, the base first will takes the proton, and because proton is removing without its electrons, so you will get a carbene ion, and from carbene ion Y is lost, you will get the bond. So in this case carbocation is formed, in this case carbene ion is formed. As you can see, the base is removing the proton, so it means this one is an acid and removing the proton. An acid after removing proton is converted into a conjugate base. So this one, due to the reason that this name is E1CB, E1 conjugate base mechanism. In this case a conjugate base is formed, and from the conjugate base then this one is removed, so this one is called E1CB mechanism. Among all these three mechanisms, the most important and most favorable mechanism is the E2 mechanism. E1 and E1CB is the least favorable mechanism among all these three mechanisms.